Is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi, good evening, everybody, and welcome to everyone joining the call. We're just going to give it a minute before we fully start to give you all a chance to connect in. I can see the numbers are rocketing up for what's going to be an absolutely fun. So what we'll do is we're just going to say a few hellos. We've got the lovely April calling in from Ireland today. Debbie Atkins, she's in the UK. We've got the lovely Eric Gammels from Finland, and Hakan. Hi there, Hakan, calling in from Germany. We've got Herman in from Germany. We've got a fully European call tonight, which is really, really exciting. Really exciting. And we've got some fantastic guests. So I'm Kim Bradley. I'm a team director here in the UK, if you haven't met me before. And we just had this great idea this week that we would put these calls together to come together all as a big European community and really get some excitement and energy going as we head towards the summit in Torino in October. Because, you know, ever since I started my business with Synergy, which is 7 years ago now, the summits have always played such an important part of my calendar. I remember the first summit that I went to was in Las Vegas, and it was a big comfort zone stretch for me because, I mean, obviously I'd only just joined Synergy and there was a financial outlay to sort of put towards going to Las Vegas. But I'd never traveled away on business by myself before, certainly not abroad. Thought of getting on aeroplanes and doing all of that sort of thing. But, you know, I was so lucky because I only had a tiny little team then. One of my team members said, you know what, I'll come with you. So the two of us went on a bit of a road trip together, a bit of a field trip. And it was the best decision I have ever made. And I honestly believe that single vision that I got from Las Vegas is what's kept burning bright inside of me ever since. And you get such a big paradigm shift in your perspective when you go to events like this. And I remember arriving at that event feeling like Synergy at the time was kind of in my head in terms of it being a really good idea. You know, it was good products, good solid business, a really good idea to be in this company. But at that event, that's when really being in a room full of such positive people, it can't help but affect you emotionally. And that's really when being a part of this company went from it being a really good idea to really moving not only to my heart, but almost to my soul, really, and becoming a purpose for me. And that is something you just can't bottle, is those emotions that people go through when they go to events like that. And for that reason, I held my vision very bright in front of me. I knew I had to apply plenty of work, lots of time, and plenty of patience as well. But it was that initial event that I went to that made that happen. And ever since, I have totally understood the power of events, and I have promoted to my team why it's so important that we go. And I'm absolutely delighted to have one of my team on with us tonight. She's a team manager in the United Kingdom, and many of you may have met her. Her name's lovely Liz James. And Liz, we have been to a number of summits together, haven't we? I'm not sure, how many have we been to together? Quite a few, I'd say.
It's 3 now, Kim. It's the 3 last summits.
The 3 last summits. And it's fair to say that we have had a lot of fun, a lot of laughter, and quite a lot of tears all together on these summits, haven't we?
Absolutely, Kim, we have. I mean, it's just one of those events. I mean, I schedule this in my diary as soon as the date comes out. I prioritize this over everything else in my life, to be quite honest, because it is just so special. And each one holds a different memory, doesn't it? Very special memories, but each one is very different. But for me, I think each one absolutely reaffirms that my decision to join Synergy is one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. Because it just recharges you in a way that nothing else can possibly recharge your batteries, doesn't it?
That's right. And I think it's, you know, being surrounded by that massive like-minded people with the same or similar beliefs, hopes, dreams, aspirations, and positive attitudes. It's really energizing and it's uplifting. And you actually do feel that you're being refueled from that collective energy in that auditorium, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And one of the things that we've struggled with is, you know, we often have a recap meeting when we come home to our countries, but it's almost impossible really to bottle what you experience and try and pass it on as best as you can do that, but you just can't convey it in the same way as actually being at the event, Liz, can we?
No, you really need to feel this firsthand. And I'm just going to share my first experience of my first summit, which was in Rome. And very similar to Kim, I actually felt Synergy as a whole part of me. And on Tuesday evening's call, when Rudy said that you are a part of Synergy until the time Synergy becomes part of you, well, that's exactly what happened to me in Rome. And Synergy's been inside of me every single day since. And you can't share that with anybody. That's personal to you. And it's that drives me forward. It's that feeling that you've actually felt Synergy with every ounce of you.
Oh, Liz, that's absolute perfect description. So just to finish then, if there's anyone in the, you know, there's a team member like yourself, maybe they've only just got started, or you know, you've had some new people join your business this year yourself, you know, what would you say to them to try and really encourage them to just take a leap of faith and get to Torino today?
Okay, so you really are unable to get the passion, the enthusiasm, the excitement of our founder, our top leaders, the corporate staff, all those members who walk across the stage, who receive recognition. They all inspire you. And to feel that personally will drive your business forward. I would say it's the best investment you can ever make for your Synergy business. And if you haven't yet found your why, you know, why you're doing Synergy, and you're a little bit undecided, then really trust me, as one or several people on that stage, they're very likely to say something at just the right time that's going to resonate with you. And that could really end up changing your life and shift that business perspective of yours. So really make that investment, that all-important decision, and just go.
Good. Well said. Well, that's why we're here on these calls, to just encourage everybody to take that leap of faith and come along and experience it if you've not been to one before. Now, thank you so much, Liz, for sharing your insights. And I'm going to turn to our next speaker, because our next speaker, well, she doesn't really need much of an introduction from me, but I'm going to tell you how I feel about this beautiful next speaker. Our next speaker is Dianne Leavitt. She's a double presidential with Synergy. She's been with Synergy, well, she's been with Dan Higginson right from the very beginning, really. And for me, Dianne represents the best female role model that I could possibly have. She totally and utterly wears her heart on her sleeve. Anybody that's heard Dianne speak at events will know that. That's why we may have a little tease about tissues at the ready. But, you know, Dianne, the thing I love about you, I've seen you at so many events now, and I just think it's incredible how you've got this amazing memory to remember people who have touched you sincerely from the heart, you know, people that you've just made that connection with. And even though I only see you once or maybe sometimes twice a year, I feel like we've been best friends forever, Dianne, because that's how you conduct yourself. You're just a woman full of integrity, and I would love to have every woman in every country across Europe be put in front of you and say that is how to behave in business. Dianne, How do you feel when you come over to our summits? What have summits done for you in business?
Well, do you know what? I hate to embarrass myself because I am so emotional, but when you say these kind words, I don't really feel worthy of them because I'm such a normal person. But you know, it has been so meaningful to get to know my dear friends that are on this call, that I get to go and see, and I see their faces, and I see the hope, and I see their belief, and I think that this is what binds me so fully with our Synergy family, is because we're all the same. We all want the same thing. It doesn't matter what country you're from. It doesn't. I have learned that on early in my business. When I would go to Asia and I couldn't speak their language at all, and yet I would look into these people's beautiful faces and their eyes would look into mine, and I knew them. And I think that what is really important about that is Synergy attracts a certain kind of person that actually responds to certain principles, certain levels of integrity. It's just what we are used to, and it is because of Dan Higginson. It's because it's his heart and soul is truly that it attracts people that are attracted to that same thing, and that's why I get emotional, is because when I see you, Kim, Liz, and Simon, and I could go on forever. I just feel at home, and I miss that. And this is what these events are so incredibly important for. And I just want to say something. I just want to think about why we're even in this business. For some of those on this call that maybe you don't know me, that's okay. If you do know me, I mean, I'm so grateful for your friendship. But the thing is, we are in this business because we do love each other, but we want more. We have a gap in our lives, whether it's financial, whether it's physical, emotional, spiritual, whatever. There's gaps in our lives, every single one of us. And we are seeking to close these gaps because we want better. Maybe we want more money because we want security for our families. Maybe we want to be able to send our grandchildren to school, to college, to a higher education. Maybe we want to be able to have the freedom to stay with a loved one that is unwell and they need our love and our service. Maybe you are facing a very unhappy relationship and you don't know what to do, and you need safety, and so you can move forward. There's all of these things that happen in life to all of us, and it's this gap that we are seeking so desperately to close. And so you have to say to yourself, okay, where am I and where do I want to be? And you look out in this cruel world that is changing so quickly and deteriorating in exponential ways, and you say, where can I have safety from this storm? Where can I find people where I can be drawn to and lifted by? And to me, the bridge to this better way are the people of Synergy, of the leadership of every single person that is drawn to this beautiful business. Because we learn from everyone. We look around and we see perseverance. We see people reaching beyond what they've ever reached before. We see people succeeding. Kim, you are such an example to me. I look at the growth that you've had over the last couple of years and I want to cry because I'm so happy. I heard Helen on the phone the other day and I just wept because I was so proud. I hear all of these beautiful friends. Liz, I'm watching your growth. Everyone's growth. You know something? We're in a safe place. Now, I think that these events are so important is because you can't get that when you're by yourself. And when you're at home and you are just grinding out the days and just trying to find better, you know something? There's a lot of messages in our voices, in our heads. There's a lot of powerful, strong voices. And if you don't choose to listen to the correct voices, you can become really you can go down wrong paths. They can be dark places. It's just sad. You need to be lifted by others that have been on the journey that you are seeking to go and who have learned things that you haven't learned yet. Those people who are willing to give you their heart, their experience, and shortcuts to get what you want out of life in these different areas. To me, Synergy is my home. Literally, if you cut me open, I'd probably bleed blue because it's the Synergy blue, because I know that I'm loved. I know that I can love in this environment. I can become more. I can help others grow. This is, man, this is all, and you say this is a business? Are you kidding? It is a way of life. Now, to kind of, I don't want to take too long, but I want to tell just a really quick story if it's okay, because I think it kind of illustrates the importance of these events. There is a really exciting sports event in the United States, and it's with these incredible stallions, these race horses, and it's the Kentucky Derby. The Kentucky Derby is incredible, and this has been an age-old event that these stallions will come and we will see who is the strongest. Well, it's so fun because this event is so popular in the United States. Well, there has been an announcer that has been going to the Kentucky Derby for probably 32 years and has been the announcer. And he always, when the gun sounds and those horses fly out of the starting gate and they begin their race, he always will say, "And they're off." That is what he has said for 32 years or something like that. I mean, decades. He has represented the beginning of this race. Well, he retired some years ago. And after doing so well, he became iconic. This has just carried on forever. It will be always a part of the Kentucky Derby. Well, a couple years went by, and he thought he saw an advertisement for a radio station. They were doing some commercials, and they needed a voice. And believe it or not, the advertisement was for a voice that was to mimic this very man saying, "And they're off." Well, he went down and he said, okay, well, this is a shoe-in. I mean, I can do that because I've done it forever, and it is me after all. Well, he went down and he actually applied for this job, and he didn't make the job. He didn't get the job. The point, what I'm trying to say is, the voices over all of this was the very man who had done this at the Kentucky Derby for more than 3 decades, and people couldn't hear his voice. They couldn't hear. And I thought to myself how unbelievable it is that the very man that this whole thing was all about, they couldn't hear him. They couldn't hear that voice. And so my question is to everyone on this call is, what voices are you listening to? What are you doing at home while you're trying to build your business? What voices are you listening to that are really trying to reach out and help lift you? Or are you hearing a counterfeit and you don't even know it? Well, I think in this crazy world, we have to combine with each other. We have to unite and build each other and lift each other so we know exactly that we are being told the correct message, the correct voice, and that we can build ourselves and become the leaders and the voice of this company. And you can't do that when you're by yourself. You can't do that even when you're in smaller groups. You've got to come and align yourself and hear the voice, the real authentic voice of what Synergy is. And that is why I come to these events. I come to these events also to celebrate the accomplishments of my beautiful friends that I love so much, because we're all advancing. We all are putting one foot in front of the other. And I celebrate this moment because it is big. When you make a commitment to yourself that you are going to attend an event like this, what you're saying is you're worth it. I'm worth it. I am going to do this, and I am going to go so I can become better. Well, that's why I go, and I am so grateful. I love this company. I love the people that are in this company. I love what it stands for, and I love what it's done for me and how it helps me grow. But I feel like I am one of the most blessed girls on the planet. No one my close friends here that don't understand what Synergy is, they don't have the best part of me. The best part of me is this company and my friends and those that I love. So I think it's pretty great that I get to be the one speaking right before my best friend, Dianne Higginson, whom I love and adore and I respect so much. And I don't know, Kimmy, if you were going to, I'll turn it back to you, but I just wanted to be able to just tell Dianne Higginson how grateful I am for him.
Oh,
he changed my life. So there you go.
Dianne, I think he's changed lots and lots of people's lives and lots of people's lives he doesn't even know. And that's what's just so amazing. And I'm going to turn over to Dan. But before I say that, I just want to say what you said is so perfect in that it's about people who will hold the vision for you when you really understand what the gap is that you're missing in your life. And people will hold the vision for you even when you stop believing in it yourself, and will keep reminding you. And I love the way you said that, listen to the voices that are trying to build you up and stop listening to the voices that are trying to pull you down. Because the ones that are pulling you up are the ones that understand the gap that you are trying to fill. So, oh, I love you so much, Dianne.
I love you.
Right, now, if you thought that was emotional, hold on to your seats, because, we've got the absolutely wonderful founder of this company, Dan. I'm so absolutely delighted that you've taken time out of a very busy schedule to come in and tell us about why, from your point of view, from the founder, from the corporate point of view, why do you love these events so much, Dan? Why are they so important to you?
Thank you so much, Kim, and thank you, Di. Love you, love Liz. Thanks for everybody that's contributing and investing their time today. 19 years ago, I made a choice, and it was the best choice of my life. Been the biggest ups and the biggest downs, the greatest triumphs and the greatest failures. But really, at the end of the day, I have friends in 28 countries that I know have my back. I have friends that are leaving a legacy because they took this culture and vision real. What do events do? Well, the first thing they do is they create a sense of credibility. When you have doctors on the stage talking about Pro-Arginine Plus, the PDR for 6 straight years, when you have them on stage talking about the High Desert Study, when they're talking about the Hughes Center study, when they talk about all these wonderful things, it adds credibility. The second thing typically that is vitally important in my mind that an individual gets is that they see the recognition of people that are well-deserved. People have decided to win. People have rank advanced who walk across that stage and awarded a pin or a certificate or a memorabilia or a trophy or whatever it might be. It's a time to gather as a family, a Synergy family, and celebrate their success. There's typically huge announcements that companies make at these events that are critical. I think the most important thing an event does truly is that it creates belief. As I talk to people year after year for the last 19 years, what they've told me is that the event cemented belief. It cemented who they are, what they want to become in life, what that culture of that company, that vision and culture is all about. And can they sustain that vision and culture and endorse it and be a part of it and become entrenched in it? And really, truly, I see that happen year after year with several people. And, if I were to put Steve Seeley on the phone right now, or Brian Holt, or thousands of others, really, they would tell you that these events are the greatest return on investment they've ever had in their life. They've seen their income and their passive income increase substantially because of events. In fact, Steve Seeley took it so serious in the beginning that when we announced a small regional event in Utah, and we'd say there's 500 seats, he would come in and purchase 250 seats, and it would upset others because he took those events so seriously. Well, guess what? It had a huge return on his investment. And so, folks, you get to rub shoulders with like-minded people. You get motivated, trained, and inspired. You get to understand with crystal clarity what the legacy of this company is all about, what it means to live, love, learn, and leave that legacy. You get to hear from crossline, upline, downline, and be motivated, trained by them. You get rewarded and incentivized. You get people that recognize you and your hard work and your dedication and discipline to this company and its future. But it always takes me back to a guy I really don't care for, but is brilliant in events, and his name's Don King here in America. He's got big poofy hair, and he's a motivator. And basically what he does is he pre-events, which we're doing right now. We're trying to get everybody we can to Torino because we know what will happen to their business. He holds the event, which we will hold in Torino, and then he has the event, which is usually a recap, meetings that in your region your general manager will do. And in his case, he'll talk about the pre-event of a potential fight between Mike Tyson and Mr. Holyfield, or the Kentucky Derby, like Di said, you know, one of the greatest events in American history, where people dress up in their sundresses and their top hats, and they go there with such a unbelievable tradition, like the Masters of Golf at Augusta National, whatever that event is. And then he holds the event knowing that the post-event is starting another pre-event for whoever wins that fight. Lennox Lewis is waiting in the balance. Well, guess what, folks? It's the same in Synergy Worldwide. We have pre-evented this unbelievable event that's about to take place in Torino. They will all come together, share, go, and really, really promote one another. We'll hold that event. We'll then have a post-event, which is general managers, and we'll start talking about the pre-event for the next one. And really, Don King has made hundreds of millions of dollars just pre-eventing, eventing, and post-eventing. And again, you know, his style and the way he talks and the way he motivates and markets is brilliant, although I personally don't care for it. What I do care for is the understanding and the belief mode that when he shows a pre-event of a fight and he's cut a deal with HBO on a pay-per-view title, and all of a sudden $100 million is received that day just via subscription basis to watch that fight, and then he's already in the balance, got the next fight ready. It's amazing to watch how he's been able to do that over the last several decades and win. Well, I would much rather do it instead of a fight. I'd much rather do it to bring our people together, our cultures together, of truth and trust. I would much rather do it to expose what health and prosperity is about. I'd much rather do it to show people what a residual income can look like and feel like. And Dianne Leavitt has lived it. She has shown it. She has stayed humble, kind, but to see the legacy that she's been able to leave and to see the financial gain that she's had, millions and millions and millions and millions and millions, I think 15 million times over, dollars that she's been able to earn to better her family's life and protect her family, and to be able to give back and do those things that helps her create whatever her mission is and whatever her legacy is. And we could talk about Bart Woodcook, Mr. Mega Match, who will tell you point blank that events are the number one most important thing that have mattered in his personal business. That's what it's about, folks. And I couldn't be more excited to get there. I couldn't be more excited for this event. And what I do know, we're serious about their synergy business, not passive in thinking, but really serious about building their residual lifestyle and their dreams, their health, their wealth, their freedom. They're at events. They don't miss events for anything. Those are the people that are serious. And so what's nice about it is you reach out and you try to motivate, train, and inspire people to come to these events, is that you find out who is serious about this business by who attends. That I know, and that I've learned for 19 years. And those are the 10, like I said, I'd love to have an actual percentage. I'd love to actually look at all the synergy leadership that has attended event after event and see what the ROI from that event the following year was about for them. Was it 10%, 15%, 20%? Was our customer base expanded? Or was it just a financial result? I'd really like to someday get that narrowed down, but I can tell you this, from the people I personally know, the return on investment is in a magnitude that's unspeakable. And so whoever's on this call today, whoever's thinking about Torino, whoever's trying to find an excuse not to go, get over it. Get there. I don't care if it's a financial issue, get with the people in your upline and figure it out. If it's a timing issue, figure it out. Because at the end of the day, the announcements that are made, the people, the recognition that's done, the absolute clarity of vision and culture of that company is exposed, and you don't want to miss it. Thank you all so much. Really, truly love, appreciate everything you're doing, Kim. Thank you for having the fortitude and leadership and magnitude to put these calls together, participating. I just love you all and really appreciate all of your dedication, desire to make Synergy a household name that we've known as a company that truly does leave a legacy, a company that truly does offer health, wealth, and wisdom throughout the world. And I think we're doing that. I think we've done that really well for 18 years, but we're just getting started. And these events are a great place to launch. And like Dianne said, she brought up a very important analogy with the Kentucky Derby, but hey, they're off, right?
Yeah,
People that come to these events are off to the races.
we're
Thanks
off.
so much.
Oh, Dan, thank you so much. You're such an inspirational speaker, and I think it's so important for people to come to the events and hear your passion and your purpose, because you know, we help you to reignite your vision. You help us to reignite our vision. It's a completely sort of symbiotic relationship, really, at these events. And I love what you said there about people who go to events. You know, they've decided to win. And we need so many more people in this world that make a decision to win. So thank you so much for your time today, Dan, and your leadership. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So to close off this fantastic series then, it started on Monday with Simon talking to the lovely Bart Woodcock and Rob Lord. And the thing I liked about what Bart said, you know, is that whatever your dreams are, there is no limitation. You know, it's absolutely yours to take. And if you come to this event, then you will find what that dream is. You'll find out what your vision is. And on Tuesday, when we had John Burgess with Rudy Pedrosa and Carmelo Dianne, Rudy said, you know, let the events do the heavy lifting for you. You know, get the people there and they will be so inspired. They'll find their vision. They'll want to continue the business forevermore. And on Wednesday, we had the lovely Sue Thomas with Paul Bladd and Jake Rothwells. And, you know, Paul said, you know, when you go to this event, he can guarantee that you'll wish you had double the number, triple the number, quadruple the number. And I can honestly say I have thought that at every single event that I've been to. So really do everything you can to help your team members get there and to get there yourself. And then, of course, we had the lovely Dianne today and Dan Higginson that said, you know, if you find your gap, which is, you know, that you need to fill your spiritual, financial, emotional, social gap, then Synergy is there to fill it. And there's team members there to keep that vision alive. And then you really, truly can decide to win. So please go ahead on the blog and book your tickets and come and join us at what's going to be the best European event that we have ever had. Thank you so much to everyone that's tuned in on all 4 days. Thank you to everyone that's been on the panel, all the team members that have joined us as well. We're truly grateful. So have a wonderful evening, everybody.